We finally have all the new art for PALDEAN Pokemon, praise be! I really love seeing the official art of Pokemon. They're exciting, and it's funny seeing all the Twitter drama surrounding it. Follow me on Twitter, BTDubs. But seeing all these new Pokemon artworks got me excited to do a video. There's some PALDEAN Pokemon that I wanted to make third Evos for, or second in some cases. I think it's a common idea in the community right now that some of the Pokemon here feel like they need or may even get a third Evo in the future. So I'm going to try and show you my twisted and sick mind as I create some new monstrosities. I also want to preface that many of these evolutions don't change the concept of the previous Pokemon too much. I lean more into what their main sources of inspiration are, except for one, which I may have just had a silly idea and went for it. I feel some of these are closer to the similarities in the Pormo line, which I think is quite interesting, and seems to be a theme for PALDEAN Pokemon. And I wonder if this is done for the anime coming soon for marketing purposes. But anyway, let's tackle the strange evolution first. Alright, so we start with 2, go to 4, what's next? 8? 16? Nah, we must go beyond the limits of mice. Honestly, this would be an apt star in evolution too, considering we have mouse plagues in outback regions. Anyway, let's talk about Maushold. My inspiration for this was wishy-washy. I love the idea of making massive Pokemon out of a ton of smaller ones. So Maushold is just that, a giant mouse that is made up of entire colonies of Mausholds. A flesh mech of mice, if you will. I drew it with the fact that I knew it would look kinda scary, but that's kinda the point, right? They combine to scare away predators. I wanted to have that vague scream face that the line does, but it looked kinda disgusted in the end. For colours, I kept it the same as the previous Evos, more for the fact that I wanted to look as eerily close to them as I could, but with thousands of glowing mouse eyes staring at you. I changed the eyes from the weird mouse pupils to just glowing yellow eyes, and I think it helped makes it a little more intimidating. Maushold, the colony Pokemon, a normal type. When generations of Tandemaus and Maushold come together, they evolve into Maushold, creating a large group capable of working together perfectly. The oldest and youngest of the group are inside of the mass, while the healthiest create the outer wall. When hit, they are sent flying, and the area that was hit is quickly covered over with more of the Pokemon. When weak, Maushold scatter and hide, leaving only a few left to try and fend against the clearly stronger threat. If they survive, the group combines back together. Maushold has a new ability called Colony, which has the user start as the assembled form, and reverts to a smaller form with less stats at 1/4 hit points. I should also say, when it scatters, it would become a Maushold that would be either the family 3 or 4 depending on what it was evolved from. Although Orthworm looks like it should have a Prevo, I wanted to go further, go beyond. Orthworm is based on a subway train, so what if its evolution was based on maglevs? You know, like the trains that levitate magnetically. I'm still not convinced they're actually real. I wanted to keep the DNA of Orthworm there while also adding more steel to its body, sort of like going from Onyx to Steelix, keeping some of the segments the same with some extra steel, making it look a bit more menacing. This would be like a familiar jump from Orthworm to Aftermath. I had the extra part on its head at the end because it felt a little too empty there. I think this keeps the silliness of Orthworm while still being a bit more menacing and powerful looking. Aftermath, the Lev Pokemon, a steel and electric type. The steel-clad Aftermath has specialized metal nodes on the bottom of its body that creates magnetic fields between them. Aftermath can use these to launch itself through Earth by using magnetic metals in the Earth. It has an iron head that allows it to smash smoothly through dirt, stone and even heavy metals. It will even open its mouth and have a delicious dirt meal while flying forward. Out of the ground it will shoot around, pummeling foes with its retractable hands. I like Grafii in a way. It's like my hideous son that's creative. And that's what my parents say about me. Actually, I now understand. But but it feels like a mid-stage. It's kind of tiny in-game, and I feel like it could benefit from growing larger, but not too different. Adding some extras and that's all. Also, I found out that Lemural is a name that many people use for Grafii speculative Evos, so there we go. I started with the idea that it's a lemur with the ability to spray colour poisons, like an aerosol, and a tail that could do the same thing, staining the colour of the tail in turn. I wanted to keep the same fingers despite it not being a lemur kind of thing, but combining various species together, a case of monkey see, monkey do the same for the evolution. I also gave it a bit more humanization, which isn't always bad for Pokemon. I might one day make a different Evo for this one, but I think this is a fun little evolution for Grafii. Lemural, the lemur Pokemon. A rare sight, Lemural spend their time hiding during the day, then at night come out to turn entire mountains into their colourful toxic canvas. Equipped with not only poison spit, they can now spray colourful poisonous breath from their mouth and a similar substance from the tip of their tail. Lemural will spend years creating their turf away from the view of others. Spending its time at night working has caused it to be photosensitive and can usually be found in the darkest caves and jungles during the day. Man, imagine making a Pokemon with Intimidate and it still sucks. Sadly, Squawkabilly is a great idea and a pretty cool design, so for its evolution, I wanted to push it further into the kind of delinquent angle it has, and less of the Rockabilly Greaser thing. I also decided to go further with its potentially Monk Parrot inspiration, by making it sort of a big Bancho Monk Parrot thing. I wanted to make it this almost scummy looking Pokemon, a big bully that holds onto a stick, sort of like the classic Bancho with a baseball bat, and monks in their bow staff. I really wanted to avoid the patented bird Pokemon with one wing out moment. I also gave it some feathers sticking out to look like stubble. All in all, I think this one turned out really fun and maybe would evolve by beating a bunch of other different coloured Squawkabilly and Honchkrows to prove its worth. Squawkabilly, the bully Pokemon, a fighting and flying type. A Squawkabilly that becomes true leader of all flocks evolves into this powerful bully of a Pokemon. Squawkabilly hold a large branch which it uses to conduct its flock and to beat down any Pokemon daring enough to contest it. It is ruthless and will laugh and mock the enemy using human and Pokemon noises they have mimicked. Although rough and tough, they can be quite silly and easily flustered. If training one, they will try and intimidate you but would never hurt you even if you laugh at it. Ah, Scovillain, even with your art it does nothing for me. For Scovillain's Evo, I wanted to give it a third head, being a yellow or orange capsicum. This is what a lot of people reckon that Game Freak would or will do, anyway. I wanted to also lean into the supervillain sort of theme, especially that my redesign tried to accomplish, becoming even more evil and cruel. I wanted to avoid it looking too much like Hydreigon, so I went away from the draconic body type and lent into a more calm humanoid body. The third head a bit smaller to show it's just grown, but it's the calmer of the three, with a smug grin that tells you everything you need to know. It had so many leaf capes that I decided to give it a cross-armed pose to help the silhouette. And it actually helped it make it look a bit more menacing, like it's expecting a report from one of its Capsicid henchmen. Scovillain, the villainous Pokemon, a grass and fire type. Even more aggressive and cruel than Scovillain, Scovillain is a pest to all of Paldea. Its third head has only started to grow, resulting in it being smaller than the other two, but it is even smarter than them both. It will use its own young to do cruel deeds even if it puts them in danger. Because of this, people will try and take Capsicid away from them. It will fight days-long battles against Palafin, where neither will budge and have become epic tales told to kids in Paldea. 5 Paldean Pokemon evolved and ready to go. What do you think of them? Which Pokemon from Paldea or past games would you want an evolution for? As always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and follow me on various other socials as well. I appreciate you all. Next video, let's go back to Ostara and meet some of the Pokemon found in Ozside City. I hear the Trubbish are quite unique. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
I'll give you the thrashing of a lifetime! Resistance is futile!